Hey, GW coming to you live. Couple things, but right away we're gonna jump into a movie that I just watched. It's called The Slumber Party Massacre, and it's a reimagining of a 1982 Roger Corman classic. If you haven't watched the Roger Corman classic, it spawned two sequels, and it's your standard horror fare. It's about a group of girls who have a slumber party, and a power drill wielding maniac shows up, and gore ensues. The first one The second one actually was a dead rocker with a guitar with a power drill, and it was pretty neat. That guitar actually is in this remake, so if you're a fan of those, you'll pick that out right away. But this one is directed by Danishka Esterhazy, and I'll tell you what, she did a lot of work on this film. She also put new elements into the story. The story is moved from a house to a an abandoned resort in the middle of the woods. Makes for good scenery. There's also elements in the story that you never did see in the first film. Like, I believe in the first film, the killer, uh, his mom or any parent was hardly referenced. This one's pretty cool. It stars excuse me, Anna Gonera, Francis Douglas, and Alex McGregor. They're fairly new. I haven't seen these actors on anything, but it is definitely worth checking out. It's on Shutter right now, and I believe the Blu-ray only cost about $13. You can get it from Amazon or Walmart. I believe I saw it. The gore in this is pretty amazing. Nothing out of the ordinary. And what also surprised me about this film, it was distributed by Sci-Fi. The guys that put on the Sci-Fi TV show, the owners of the TV show put it, so it's a Sci-Fi original. Which, when I first turned this movie on, I was like, great, it's going to be a watered down, TV rehash, but it actually wasn't. It was a very straightforward horror film. Gore was actually surprising, and I could go into it, but power drills, you got holes to the head, blood squirting, uh, just interesting. The killer also, or killers, I should say. I'm not going to ruin that. But weapons range from nail guns to power drills, and the like knives are used prolifically in this film. This is probably the closest to a Friday the 13th clone that you will see as far as story in a current horror film. But it was definitely good, and I didn't expect it to be this good, to be honest with you. But the story, it's campy, it's dumb fun, and it is a throwback to the original '82 film, which was campy and dumb fun to say the least. But this film is definitely, it has moments where it is stupid and goofy, but it also has moments of where it is really dark and sinister, and I like that. The other thing that makes this film a little bit creepy is the killer. You really don't know what his motive is. It's never brought out and said. Um, but it is implied. You can pretty much figure out what the motive is. He doesn't talk a lot, and when he does, it's pretty wickedly sinister. Again, the cat's pretty excited about the film. So definitely check it out. Um, Couple more things I want to address. If you guys have been living under a rock this last couple of weeks, Budweiser put out limited edition beer cans for a transgender woman who was entering her 365th day of womanhood. And it created a shit ton of backlash, guys. Kid Rock has weighed in on it. Joe Rogan has weighed in on it. The American public has weighed in on it. Us people down where I work have weighed in on it. And I'm not going to get too preachy about the deal, but here's what I think. They should have sent her the cans without any notoriety. Now the whole thing is blown up, and to the point where Anheuser-Busch the people that gave her the beer cans, um, are receiving. Their sales are falling. Backlash is coming. I used to drink Bush, but I'm telling you what, if they're going to go down this road and trying to jam this down our throats, I'm going to stick to Heineken, you know? And, I remember growing up, beer was beer. You know, you didn't have any weird cans in beer except for racing or a sports team. You know what I mean? But now it's like all about, celebrate these type of people, celebrate these type of, and that's fine. But why do we need all the notoriety behind it? And it's like, regular people, regular heterosexual people that enjoy beer. I don't want to see that. And I get it. This world has changed, and that's cool. And I get that they did send her limited edition cans, and I'm great that they made a deal. But the thing is, for a part of the public, you know, we for a part of the public that wants to keep life simple, you know, I don't want that jammed down my throat. And it's gotten to the point where even like last year, Christmas time, we watched the Christmas Day parade. And it was a good parade, but then you have all these, transgender people, you have these people that were born male, you have all this stuff. And I get it, it's a new world, but I don't want that shoved down my throat. So I have nothing against them. I'm just saying that, keep everything private. Most of the American public just wants to live their life and drink their beer or their soda or go to a restaurant or go to a bathroom where it's just normal. It's not for both. But again, this is a new world. And, maybe it's the way of life. I don't know. But all I'm saying, guys, is Anheuser-Busch is going to lose some more money because people don't like change, and they don't like sexuality mixed with their beer. I can tell you that right now. So it's my take on it. So I'm a Heineken drinker. So you guys can, or, Heineken or Corona or you know what, Sam Adams. Done. You know, but like I said, I didn't want to get too preachy on that. So, anyways, so what else we got? We have the Exorcist remake coming up. Another good movie that I saw previous war is The Pope's Exorcist. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is, he's back and looks pretty cool. And yeah, so, and I'm sorry that I haven't done a movie review. We've had a lot of things go on, a lot of craziness going on. But, work has been kicking my tail lately, guys. And my buddy Dre, you guys know him. I talked about him a little bit. I've been trying to get in touch with him. In fact, he called me and he goes, dude, he says, you haven't done any movie reviews. What's going on? Well, I've been busy and things have been crazy. And it's not that I plan this stuff, it's more or less like I want to, things happen, and then I get around to it. Also in the news, May 23rd, if you guys have HBO Max, it's going to change to just Max. The Discovery HBO Max merger is going to come full scale. And from what I've read too, you really don't need to change your plans. I think they'll keep the price basing the same. So it'll be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to see how they change that. And I'm thinking that AEW streaming will be on there from everything I've read. What else was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about something else. Oh, House of a Thousand Corpses just dropped its 20th anniversary Blu-ray edition DVD. I haven't checked that out yet, but I'm going to. Cocaine Bear is now streaming on Peacock, so you guys can check that out. That movie, I'm telling you, that was one of the craziest things I ever seen, and I really enjoyed the ride. Um, so now here's a little tiny segment. I was googling up Martin Scorsese films because I love The Wolf of Wall Street and I love the director. I really do. He's one of my favorite directors of all time. And there was an article and it said movies directed by Martin Scorsese with most f bombs. Wolf of Wall Street, 529 f words in the whole thing. So that means that movie runs 3 hours, which average 2 or 3 f bombs every couple of minutes. It's pretty interesting when you get people to break down things like that. But I want to say, big shout out to everybody working at K Rose. I'd like to say a big shout out to my man Mitch. I'd like to say a big shout out to my man Tim from KPMG. I'd like to say a big shout out to my boy Dre. Big shout out to Emily. Big shout out to Becca. The people I don't mention, and I should give them full props. Casey, holding it down. I'd like to say what's up to all my boys at DCSA, you know what I mean? But I just wanted to give everybody a shout out, and I hope everybody had a happy Easter. Mine was okay. Went over to Graham's, ate too much, fell asleep early, watched America's Funniest Videos. But the thing about Easter, guys, is it didn't even feel like a holiday around here, Just felt like a day you just went to eat and come home. I don't know, something seemed off. I don't know what it was. My brother-in-law, Mike, I want to tell you about my brother-in-law a couple of times. Sometimes we've been in some crazy situations, and I know people like to know about my life. They just don't like to hear about movies and everything. But, so. Yeah, other than that, that's what's been going on. But like I said, I didn't want to get too preachy about the beer thing because to me, honestly, I don't care what beer companies do. I just know that there are people that like things the way that they used to be. And there are people that like change. And you can't keep everybody happy, And to me, I don't know. I just think it was a stupid move. Because my thing is, I just think you should keep private lives private. You shouldn't let the American public know everything. But I get it. Everybody's going to come out in the woodwork and they're going to find out about you anyway. But then let it die. It's like, do you guys remember? Here's a perfect example. When Roseanne was on, they had an episode where they were going to do a lesbian kiss. And that episode got so much notoriety and so much backlash and so much stuff that they didn't even know they were going to put it on. And they finally put it on. And you know what? The hype outweighed the actual episode. Meaning that the hype was so big that what happened compared to the hype was so small. And I remember that episode. I was not allowed to watch that. My parents were like, dude, we don't want you watching this. But then the hype wore off. And I guess the lesson to be learned in that is, if you wouldn't have said nothing, if you would have just shot it and said nothing about it, or it didn't leak to the press, there would be no backlash. And I understand where Kid Rock's coming from, and I understand where a lot of these people are coming from, but I also understand that Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch wanted to do something. So, I don't know. I just think it's crazy. And I don't agree with it, but again, I think it should have been handled differently. And like I said, I'm drinking Heineken, Sam Adams, or Corona. I'm sorry. Not going to buy a Busch product anymore. And I know a lot of people aren't going to do that. because people don't want their beer messed with. There's certain things you don't mess with. You don't mess with beer, you don't mess with food, and you don't mess with some TV shows. That's basically how it is. So you want to jump on me about my comments, go ahead. But I speak for the majority, and there's a lot of people that think the same way as me. So anyway, hope you guys have a good Sunday. Dre, I dropped the video, man. Boom, there it is. So yeah, but yeah, definitely check out Slumber Party Massacre. It was better than what I thought it was. More interesting, little twist and turns here, and it had everything. It had the it had the corny, campy comedy elements a little bit. It had your, you know, plot twist. It had your, basic horror movie or horror movie tropes with the dumb blonde, the smart girl, the crazy girl, the girl that shouldn't be there, the whole 9 yards. And it was actually a pretty decent movie. Had some gore to it. Definitely worth checking out. So, on that note, I will catch you all next week.